Greetings, everyone. This is Morning Eggnog. My name is James Font. With me, as always, Caleb.
Good morning, everybody. Except that, again, it's not morning.
I don't think we've recorded in a morning in a while.
Yeah, we haven't.
So today, our very special guest is Mark Link.
Special ed.
Well,
Hi, everybody.
So, Mark, I got a hold of Mark from my brother who works at. We actually. Did you watch the interview with Jonathan?
No, I didn't.
It's really funny. You should watch. You should
Okay.
listen to that on the way home.
Okay.
My brother who works at Happy Days in Lima, and he said, "Hey James, I have this perfect guest for you. He's a cop here in Lima." I said, "Give me his number," and so he did, and here we are. You graciously agreed to come and be not roasted, but
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
That
I'm
too.
good with that.
not roasted. What's the word I want? When you're trying to get you get information out of somebody. You know
Tortured?
what I'm talking about?
That
That too. Grilled.
Grilled,
I said
tortured.
roasted.
Yeah.
You're here to get grilled about your cop life.
Okay, that'll work.
So I guess we'll start at the very beginning.
Yeah.
When did you become a cop, and why?
May 18th of 92.
Okay.
Why? I can't really tell you. I don't know. I
What,
went.
what did you do before a cop? What was your? How about this? We'll go way back. What was your first job?
My first job was a pizza delivery at Domino's.
I think everybody didn't you. You never worked pizza.
I
did you?
delivered papers, not pizzas.
See, I worked at a pizza place.
Well, I'm sorry. Then I have to go back before that because I delivered newspapers at 10 years old.
There you go.
So I've been working all my life.
Same, kinda. Since I was 12, I worked for farmers.
I've had a job since I was 9.
Yeah, you swept the parking lot.
Yeah, there's a carryout not too far away from here. And once a week, I'd go down there and sweep the parking lot with a big old broom. And I would get $5, a drink, and a candy bar.
Ooh,
And that was
that was a
pretty,
bonus.
That's pretty good for a 9-year-old kid.
You can do a lot with $5 back then.
Yeah, yes, you could. I was pretty happy with it.
Caleb's so old.
That was when a king-size candy bar was still like $1.09.
$75. Yeah, or
It is-
75 cents.
Being 23, I'm not that old at all. But it is weird seeing how inflation has changed in the last 10 years.
Ridiculous.
It's
Yeah.
been silly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you were a pizza delivery.
I was pizza delivery. I worked at Powell Company. I installed above ground swimming pools, and I also maintained in-ground swimming pools.
Okay.
So
So you just would go clean them, or what do you
Yeah.
mean maintain?
yeah, clean.
Ooh, you're the pool
Work
boy.
on them. The pool boy. Yes,
Ooh.
at 14 years old.
Oh.
Picked up off the street. Guy come by, my old boss come by and said, "Hey, you want to have a job for the summer?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure."
I need money.
So,
I'm 14.
okay, so I went to my mom and dad, told them it was a block away from my house. They were familiar with some of the people there, and then I went to work for him almost every day during the summer and installed pools, above ground pools,
I guess, above ground pools.
above ground pools. Yeah,
I was going to say, what goes into an underground pool, but I guess what goes into an above ground pool? Or at least back then.
prepping the ground,
Okay.
making sure the ground's level, installing the blocks for each one of the upright posts, putting the posts up, putting the walls up, installing the pump, the filter, putting the liner in, making sure it's right, and make sure it doesn't fall in. That's the big key on the whole thing.
When your pool is I don't know, above ground pools. I've never been in a rich enough area or I don't know what kind of area that would be to set up an above ground pool.
But actually, they aren't too bad. I also, at times, like during the winter, we would sell them. So I would be working inside doing pool water tests, testing spa waters and stuff like that. So back then, it was probably $1,500 for a 24-foot round pool.
I guess it's just weird because I guess I didn't know there was a company to set up pools because my father-in-law always set up their pool, their above ground pool.
Most places don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
The bigger chains do, but you get the smaller stores, they don't install them anymore. There aren't too many mom and pop places anymore that actually sell above ground pools.
It's true. Yeah, it's mostly going underground or the pools you can get at like Walmart and places like that you can do.
The blow up, they're the water filled ones, and yeah.
So, did you go to school to become a police officer?
Yeah, I actually went into the military first.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I went and talked to an officer who's since moved on. He's a postman now, but I went and talked to him one day and asked him what he had to do to become a cop. He says, well, the first thing is, he goes, I went in the military. He goes, and then when I got out, I took the civil service tests and became a Lima cop. So that's what I did. I graduated. We had our first child. I went in the basic training, was gone for 6 months, come back, was in the National Guard. I had a 10-year commitment. I was in for 8 years. And then I was on what they call IRR for 2 years.
I didn't know they did 10-year commitments.
Yeah, back then they did.
Oh, okay.
We're talking 87 when I signed up.
A few years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. IRR is inactive ready reserve.
Okay.
Technically, you are done with your commitment at 8 years, but you're still on call for 2 years.
Yep.
As soon as I got back, I actually should have been hired a year before to the police department a year before I got on, but I ended up going to the Gulf War.
Gotcha.
Well, not really the Gulf War. I was activated. My guard unit from out of Toledo was activated. We went to Germany. I was in Germany for almost a year.
Oh, wow.
And then when I came back, federal law says they have to hold my position for the test. So I went from one of the top 5 up to number 2. There was one other guy that was ahead of me. And then I got hired on. I was activated for the first Gulf War. Germany was great. It was really nice. Being away from my family stunk.
Yeah.
It was terrible. As a matter of fact, the day that we landed in Frankfurt, Germany, it was Christmas night.
Oh, my goodness.
The day we left was Christmas Eve, but it was a 12-hour flight, the time change and everything. Christmas night, I was in Germany, and my wife and kids are at home.
How many kids did you have at the time?
We had 2.
Okay.
Our oldest, Aaron, and then our second is Joe. Joe was 6 weeks old.
Goodness.
That was one of the reasons I never went in the military. Is I don't have a family. Let me phrase that. I don't have any kids yet, but I got asked by a couple of recruiters like, oh, what are you doing? Not in the military, basically. And I was like, oh, I don't know.
Making more money is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
well, for you guys and your age, I was going to say your guys' age, it's not like it was back when I was your age. When I was your guys' age, they didn't actively pursue schools like they do now. They don't go into schools. They don't, target kids at graduation, standing out, what are you doing? Passing out flyers. They didn't do that. But once you talk to them, they're all over you. So, but my recruiter, I kind of went in and told him, said, listen, I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I'm going to work it out. I'll let you know. And I said, I don't want you to lie to me, which recruiters don't lie.
They've never lied ever.
But for the most part, he told me everything I needed to know about basic training, except for a few things. Now I went to Alabama, and oh yeah, it's nice down there. Well, it was
it's
okay.
Alabama.
It's Alabama. It was kind of like here, cold in the morning, hot in the afternoon, cold at night, or vice versa, or it was a mix of everything.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, for the most part, basic training wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Other than being away. And that also was right at Christmas time. So
they keep sending out at Christmas time.
I was able to come home for 2 weeks, I think it was, for Christmas, and then go right back. So, but it wasn't bad. It was just hard being away.
So what were you in the military?
Military police.
Okay, so you've been police the whole time.
Yes, but there's complete difference between the two.
Oh, I can
civilian
imagine.
and military. Military police, you go arrest somebody, you go take somebody, and you look in a book to find out what you're arresting them for. If not, it's like a disorderly conduct we have today, and you turn them over to their CO, and they deal with it there. Okay? Police work, you got to know the laws before you actually go out and arrest somebody.
Yeah.
Or give them a ticket for whatever, or at least have the majority of the general of what the laws are. I don't know every single law, and I'll never claim to know every single law. There's too damn many. And, and they overturn with laws. They change them all the time.
Legislation changes constantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of them. I know what they are. Everybody thinks there's black and white areas.
If you steal a bike.
Yeah, it's
What's
a
that?
petty theft.
It's a petty theft.
Depending on the dollar amount. Depending on the dollar amount.
Okay, so what dollar amount changes it from petty?
$1,000.
$1,000.
It was 500, but there was so much overturn.
So what if
with
you
felony.
steal a $2,000 bike?
It's 1 to 5,000 is a felony of the 5th degree.
Oh my!
5 to 10 is a F4 felony of 4th degree, and then I can't tell you what the dollar amounts
So
because
if
they
you-
get astronomical up there, the higher.
Okay, so I don't think I realized you can get a felony for stealing a car.
Yes. Now there's something different on cars. Automobiles are completely different.
Interesting.
No matter the dollar amount, it's an automatic felony.
Okay.
Okay, I guess
But
it's kind of like stealing
You're
a
stealing
horse.
somebody's
Yeah.
it's transportation. If you steal that, somebody's
Yeah.
out of could lose their job. There's a lot of things that can go on with that. So
And it does have a dollar amount. What those are, I can't. I just we get one, recover one, we get somebody in it. We charge them initially with receiving stolen property unless they're listed as a suspect who stole it. Then we charge them with grand theft auto, and then the detectives deal with it and figure out what level is from there. But there is a dollar amount, like you're gonna go find some hoopty Pinto, and it's not going to be a felony of the 1st degree, which is the highest felony. You're going to have probably an F5. It's probably going to be worth. It all depends on the shape it's in and how it runs, whatever. It might be worth $500. But that has different dollar amounts also. Sorry, I talk with my hands quite a bit too.
no, that's fine. That's why we're not holding the microphones. That's why we got these nice props.
Yeah, we talk with our hands quite a bit.
Yeah.
we always have something to drink, but no, see, that's one of the funny things is there are so many laws, and just exactly what you said. There's so many laws, and they're constantly changing. As a cop, I mean, are there more? I would assume there's more laws now than when you started, or do laws increase?
There's really no more laws.
Okay.
There's just different subsections of the law. Okay. Basically, the laws have stayed the same.
Okay.
But they keep on adding on subsections, like a B, C, D, and then you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a B, 1, 2, 3.
Fun.
Yeah, and sometimes some of them are pretty tricky. You know what the basic is. I know what an armed robbery is. I know what a robbery is. I know what a burglary is. But then just to get, it all depends on if it's vacant. If somebody lives there, if somebody's there at the time of the offense, if there's any kind of weapon used, that's where your subsections break down and come into play.
Okay.
And then it also could increase the level of the felony on those counts, and even kind of misdemeanors too, but not so much misdemeanors.
I don't know. That's fascinating. How much paperwork does an arrest activate?
Depends.
Okay.
Okay.
So it depends on the crime. Again.
Yes.
Yeehaw.
What we used to do is everything used to be handwritten.
Yeah.
Obviously, computer
Great.
comes into play now. There's just as much paperwork, but it's simplified with a computer because you can cut, copy, paste, duplicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got drop-down boxes where you can push a search button and it can transfer from one form over to another form, stuff like that. An average, we'll say a petty theft, a shoplifter, it's probably going to take me an hour and a half.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because you got, and it
Oh
all
my
depends on what kind of
goodness.
shoplifting you got, whether the store keeps the property or you take the property. A lot of our bigger stores, chain stores, I won't mention any names, but a lot of the bigger chain stores keep the property in their own system.
Okay.
And then we just don't annotate on our report. That's a big word.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. A train brought it on.
Is it?
Yeah. We annotated on our reports that whether it's held in our property system
Annotate.
or that's pretty good, isn't it?
I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
Wow, almost makes me sound smart. or whether if we enter it in our property system, it's a few more pieces of paperwork and stickers and stuff like that.
How long do you guys keep stuff in evidence?
That depends on the length of the case. A whole lot of depends. You know what I mean?
It's just like a diaper store for adults.
Felonies could be years.
What?
It depends.
It depends.
Oh.
Hey, I want something that works. I want reliables.
Yeah.
Reliables.
If it's a felony or misdemeanor, it all depends on that and what level. Misdemeanors usually will go within 6 months. There's a whole lot of criteria on that too. Whether the person you arrested,
there's an ABC,
the
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. Whether the guy shows or girl, whoever shows up for court or not, fails to appear, has a warrant for their arrest. If they're on the run, you can't find them, or they go right in. You could have the property up to a year to 2 years.
Oh wow.
There's a certain criteria for misdemeanors that you have to keep the property so long after the offense. With felonies, you could have it up to 10, 15 years.
Oh wow.
That'd be unfortunate.
Yeah. That's why a lot of property rooms are so big. You know, you're
gonna be keeping stuff for long.
You just don't know how long it's gonna be sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay, going back. So you said 82 is when you got in the force?
92.
92. No, I'm thinking
May
I'm
18th.
thinking military, I think is where I'm going back.
Military, I got in 88.
88. Why did I hear 82? Anyways, so 88, where are you stationed?
Well, my base unit is National Guard, Ohio Army National Guard, and I was at the 323rd MP unit in Toledo.
So what would you do as a military police officer? Military police on a day-to-day basis. What do they do, especially for National Guard?
Well, they call us weekend warriors.
All right.
So you go 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks during the summer. Not a whole lot. Clean guns. Check equipment, clean your Humvees, deuce and a half.
Dazzling, exciting, blood pumping work.
Yeah, do all that. We would do some training with our different, what they call MOSs, our job specialties.
Okay.
Military Occupational Specialty, which is the military police. Yeah. And we would do a lot of that. Our 2 weeks, we would go out. We would go different places. Camp Perry. We actually 1 year we went to Honduras. 1 year we went to Germany, and we did training exercises with the regular military. So I've been to Germany twice and Honduras once. Honduras was scary.
Do you know where Honduras is?
No.
Central America.
Okay.
So the first time I went to Honduras, or the only time I went to Honduras, we were there on the first anniversary of the Sandinistas invading the Hondurans. And we were on edge. Everybody was on edge. Now, we had one psycho guy for the Hondurans. And I have to tell you that they got their rank by kills.
Oh, cool.
And not animal kills. We're talking human kills. That's how they got their rank.
Wow.
And this dude's name was Dennis, and he was psycho. And I just happened to be on an outpost with him on the night, actually, of the anniversary of the invasion. And he started shooting at a mountain lion. Talk about a whole bunch of people freaking out. They did a big scramble. Sirens going off.
He started shooting.
Yes, he started shooting at a mountain lion. Now, I don't know how he could see a black mountain lion up in the mountains when it was pitch dark.
Because he's from there.
Yeah, pitch dark. It was darker than your shirt was.
Mm-hmm.
And he could see it, but he was shooting at a mountain lion. And I think I had some bodily functions go awry.
I would assume that if my insane partner that I'm on, watch with started shooting a mountain lion, I don't feel like my underwear would fare well.
No, mine didn't. But
oh my goodness,
that was interesting. They did a scramble. Everybody was woke up. Everybody got where we were at in Honduras. I can't remember. It's not a city. This was it was way out. We're talking sporadic houses. It wasn't a town, nothing like that. But we were there protecting the engineers who were building a highway. Gotcha. And they had these two big, huge bladders, about 4 times the size of this house, where we're at here, that water bladders that sat up on a hill, 2 of them. And we were guarding those plus the engineers. So it was pretty interesting. So everybody scrambled, everybody's out, machine guns, handguns, rifles, everything.
Did he get
Oh, no.
Discipline? No.
No.
Okay.
No, because I don't think their upper echelon wanted to deal with him either. So, okay, don't do that again and move on.
All right.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. So it was interesting, very interesting. They had while we were there, they had one guy steal food from our chow hall. They cut his fingers off, and they strapped him down to a bed for a week. Then they had another guy.
Wait, was it an American?
No, it was a Honduran. It was a Honduran.
Okay.
That was their punishment. And
For
then they
stealing.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, did he know that?
Oh yeah. He went right into our chow hall and just started taking a whole bunch of food, took it back to his barracks, and third world country.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Oh my goodness.
He was just going to take his chances. Then we had another guy that one of their police, their military police, let outside the gate, which he wasn't supposed to after a certain hour. Went down the road and visited a prostitute. When he come back, they tied him up in the center of the compound that we were on, right in the middle against the post. The only thing he got was water for a week. So that was real.
That's good punishment.
Eye opener.
It's good punishment. I mean, that would.
Yeah, talking
It's
about different
barbaric.
worlds.
Yeah,
It's completely barbaric, but
Yeah.
it's a good punishment.
yeah.
I guess.
It'll teach.
Jeez.
Oh my. All right. So going a little bit back further. So you said you did basic training
Yes.
for military. Have you heard much about basic training now?
No.
Would you? Okay, I didn't know. How hard was basic training back then? Because we interviewed a guy from Vietnam, he was actually military police too. I interviewed him. He said basic training they could beat the snot out of if they wanted. That's back then. And then I interviewed Aaron Ayers. When was he in?
Huh?
When was he into the military?
I think he was in 2006 or 7.
So almost. I can't do math. 40 years ahead of that time. So, how was basic training for you back then? We are getting so far off topic of what we. But
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Okay.
They yell, scream, get in your face. They weren't allowed to touch us.
Okay, so that must have changed.
We call them the round browns. It's like the state highway patrol hats. They would
Yep.
stick them right in the middle, right in the bridge of your nose. You know, what are you looking at? Nothing. Are you calling me nothing? You know, that psychological battle.
They break you down. That's
Yeah,
the
they
point.
do. They had to ask us if they could cuss at us. And stupid, yeah, sure, we don't care. You know, and then it was just like a snowball. You know, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So I mean,
They had to ask.
yeah,
Can we swear at you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have said no.
yeah,
No, sir, no.
you know, it's different than what it used to be.
Yeah.
My dad was in the military also, and I get it. I understand that. But to ask if you had, you know, I get it. Snowflakes, all that, you know, cupcakes, whatever you want to call them. Sorry.
Yeah.
If this offends anybody, I'm sorry. I'm looking at all three cameras.
We're really offended. No, if you're going to the military, I think you should kind of know what you're getting into. They don't know you from anybody, so they're going to control you and break you
Right.
down and then build you back up into something better.
Well,
Hopefully.
not anymore.
No.
From what I hear, not anymore.
Not anymore.
It's wow. They have a hard time yelling at people. They can't hardly yell at them anymore. I mean, imagine going into, say, for instance, you were deployed to Iraq. Okay, you're
Yeah.
in the middle of a firefight, and you're hunkered down, and you're sucking your thumb curled up in a ball. Okay, because somebody didn't jump dead in your butt for doing something stupid or just trying to get your mindset right. Okay. I have no problem with somebody jumping in my butt if I did something stupid, did something wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's a matter of life and death. You don't have fake bullets. You don't have paintballs.
It's real world violence.
It's real world stuff. You know what I mean? You got people shooting at you. You know, you go into a house, you might have somebody come up behind you and stab you. That's the third world. That's the way they do things.
They don't care.
No. And they're not going to get in trouble for it. So you got to be able to defend yourself. And how are you going to defend yourself if you don't have a strong mindset?
Yep.
So
That's Mark's 2 cents on the military nowadays.
That's my subject, or what is it?
That's your
that's
TED
all
Talk.
I got to say
There you
about. That's all I got to say about that. Run,
All right.
Forrest, run.
So going off of that, sorry, what?
I was gonna say, all right. So we talked about military. Let's start going into the police.
Yeah, that's
side
where I
of
was
it,
going to go with it.
because I love the idea.
So after talking about basic training for the military, what is the requirements to get into the police force? At least when you got in for Lima.
For Lima, it's not a bad process. You sign up, you take a civil service test. It costs you $1.
Okay. What is a civil service test?
It's a standardized test. Civil service is state and I think nationwide civil service. It's where the cities control the hiring process. It's not only for police, it's for fire, it's for street department, parks department, any civil service job, you have to take this test. I know almost everywhere across the nation do it.
Okay.
Cities. Now, we're not talking state highway patrol. We're not talking sheriff's departments. I don't know how their hiring process is. I can't tell you. I don't know. I've never worked for one of those. But
I guess I didn't know the difference. I knew they were different, but I didn't know the difference. What is the difference between state highway sheriff and a
state highway patrol patrols the state highways, the interstates, state routes, and they can only go 3 miles off of those state routes or interstate.
Okay.
Which in Lima,
And then who would they report to?
they report to Columbus.
Okay. So
Now they have different breakdowns
I
of
don't think I knew
areas.
that.
You guys are Williams County, right? Now I don't know if Paulding County handles this area. I know Paulding County goes into Defiance. But they have different subdivisions. Findlay has one, Lima has one, Toledo, and then there's breakdowns. I don't know what their areas are. I know just those few because I've dealt with and worked with those guys.
Yeah.
But all of them different subdivisions report to Columbus, to the main highway patrol. And majority of their jobs are traffic enforcement, traffic crashes.
Okay.
They don't deal with the criminal aspect as much as we do. They do have it, you're going to get some guns, you're going to get some drugs, maybe.
But at that
warrants
point,
and
would
stuff
they
like
call
that.
somebody else in?
No.
Okay,
They still
so
handle that.
Okay.
They have a little bit of training on that, and the majority of their training on that they get from the different cities. I can tell you that Paulding County branch, they send their guys to Lima to train them.
Okay.
And their training officers come to Lima because there's so much more to get into. That's where you can get into the drugs and the prostitution and the car thefts and a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean? The pursuits and everything. They bring them to Lima to train them. So they have an idea. And I've even had guys come to me and say, hey, Mark, you get into something, give me a call. I'll come out and help you because I want to learn.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would be I can't talk. You're a Lima cop. So then what's the difference between Lima and the sheriff?
Lima, we can only do inside the actual city limits.
Okay.
The sheriff's department can go anywhere in Allen County.
Okay.
And the different sheriff. Williams County Sheriff's Department can do anywhere within the county, Paulding, whatever county sheriff's office.
So the Lima Police Department is a subsection.
It's different than a sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lima Police is its own entity.
Now,
And then you got Allen County
Yeah.
Sheriff's Office that can go anywhere in the county, even in the city.
okay, that was my question: was if they can
Yeah.
go into the city itself.
Yes. There's times where they pull their guys out, and I can give you, for instance, if you want one, and then the state highway patrol can come in the city also, but there's times where they don't want them inside the city limits either.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the majority of the time it's a political reason why they don't want them inside the city. For instance, I can't tell you exactly how many years ago there was a police-related shooting.
Mhm.
Drug raid, go in, the girl's hiding in a doorway on a second floor, has a child in her arms. The officer's going up the stairs announcing police, come out, put your hands up, get on the floor, whatever they were announcing. She was in the doorway popping in and out. It was dark behind her. They saw her pop out. They didn't know what she was doing. The guy, her boyfriend, baby daddy, I don't remember what he was downstairs, sent pit bulls out after the officers. Freak accident, same time, he let those dogs loose. Officers downstairs shot the dogs because they were attacking him. The officer going up the stairwell thought that the girl was shooting at him. He shot and killed her and injured her child in her arm. But, I mean, you got...
All the public hears is cop shoots...
Unarmed woman.
Unarmed woman with child.
Yes.
And it's like, yep, that's not how exactly it went down.
There's always two sides to a story.
Yeah.
And a lot of times...
5 or 6 or...
Well, a lot of times, and even in some of the recent stuff that's gone on, you won't hear the story because there's always a political agenda behind it.
Yeah.
And you never get the whole story. You know, that's why I'm not quick to jump to conclusions when they say something about somebody on national TV and it starts up a riot. I don't jump to conclusions because eventually I'm going to hear the whole story that you guys might not hear because they have a police website for training purposes where we get that stuff off and only officers get it until it comes out in the media. But then you don't know what's in the truth in the media because they cut it to their agenda.
Whether it be right or left.
Right. Correct. So
and that's frustrating because there's very little anything that's out there right now that is completely unbiased. Everything is either right or left. That's it.
Right.
There's nothing else. It's like, all right, here's the whole story from everybody's perspective.
Right. Well, and this was unfortunate situation. The officer was found not guilty by a jury, but you know, you get in the newspaper, oh, she was going to go to college the next day. It's funny. How can you go to college when you don't have a high school degree? You don't have your GED. This girl had several warrants out of another state for drug trafficking, drug possession. I mean, she wasn't innocent by far, but it was an unfortunate circumstance that just happened to click right at the same time.
Yep.
A series of misfortune and events. And
a lot of times that is a lot of what police work is.
So we'll take it to a more personal note. What was you said, I'm going to keep messing up. It was 92.
Yes.
What was your first, I guess the first day, what was that like?
Well, I was hired on.
Was the first month kind of boring?
Well, first I think it was 2 weeks before I actually went to the academy. I was on station. We did in-house training before I went to the academy. The academy, they tried to treat you like it was basic training for they call it a paramilitary organization. Police work, they try to be like the military, but the hardest one is State Highway Patrol. I went to Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy.
That's why they're all grumpy.
Yeah. It's supposed to be the cream of the crop, and I don't want to offend any of my brothers in the gray. I'll tell you, they are damn good with traffic crashes. They are damn good with traffic enforcement.
They do a good job. They're there almost immediately.
I mean, they've helped me out a lot. There are certain things that I'm not trained on, or my training hasn't moved on to a different level to where I'm still certified in that. For instance, they call them OVIs, DUIs. Okay. I'm old school. I used to be able to do it the old school way. Now they have the horizontal gaze and nystagmus. I'm not trained in that, so I can't do OVIs. So if we're too busy, I call on one of my brothers from State Highway Patrol, hey, and they're going to jump all over that. All I got to do is tell them what the violation was, where it was. Okay, see ya. I just make sure you put me on a ticket so I get some court time. But they're very good with traffic enforcement, and they're extremely very trained. They're very highly trained with traffic crashes. I'm not. Our department doesn't go. They have 8 weeks, I think, with just traffic crashes.
I guess what would be I guess you said you don't know, but I guess what would that all include? If it's 8 weeks of traffic crashes, what would that, is it how to, how to secure the scene, how to.
No, theirs is more in depth than that. They go into crash damage analysis, how deep. They get down into what kind of car, what the total weight is. They can factor in the speed. They can factor in the crash damage.
Lots of geometry.
Oh, yes, a lot of it. I went to one class one time, and I said, no. I mean, I passed the first crash course. After that, I'm like, nah, this is a little bit too much for me, And then you talk about if a car goes airborne, the trajectory. Thank you, honey. My wife over there, Susan. Hello, I love you, baby. Trajectory. How far they travel in the air. Everything.
Goodness.
Drag, skids.
I don't know. I guess I never thought of that because they need to know all that information to know why is this car in a crumpled mess here?
Yeah.
Well, pulls out clipboard.
They can get down to almost the exact speed that car was going. You say you were doing 35. It's a 35. Well, they can figure all that up and say, you're lying. You were doing 47. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's how good that they are. And with all I can't remember what they're called. Can you help me out here? The different formulas that they have. Well, now you can just punch them into a computer, but they still have all that training to where they have to do everything hands-on. Then you got the triangulation. You got to get fixed objects and measure the fixed objects to triangulate to where it was. I mean, they get down to little car parts. It might be an oil spot. God forbid if it's a fatality, where the blood is, where the body is, how far the body was ejected out of the vehicle. If it was a motorcycle, if they were wearing a helmet, how far the helmet was from where the person was found.
Also, if you're driving a motorcycle on the road, wear a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You're
dumb if you don't, but yeah, you can look cool, I guess.
So
Hope you get life insurance.
That's the difference between the three.
Okay.
So, and with ours, my perspective is once we're back from the academy, we're trained a lot better. Our department is very good with training. That's the best thing that they do is they train. We have the state mandates so many hours a year. We have that in February, 2-week blocked off. Nobody gets a day off. Nobody gets vacation, nothing. There's 2 weeks where we have training. And then we have training continuously all through the year. We'll go over our use of force policy a couple different times. We'll go over different things that weren't covered in the block of training, so.
Now, do you guys have any psychological training or I can't think of the word I want, de-escalation?
We had
training.
We did when we were in the academy, and we've had it before. I can't remember. I can't tell you what the last thing was as far as national. But once that come out, then all of a sudden, everybody's got to. It's like you don't have stuff. You have stuff initially, but you're not retrained on it. And then when something happens, we got to train more on it. So we have had that. Our department is very good with training.
But do you think? This was something I heard somewhere, but they were like, should there be more training? Even more, because I think I was listening to another podcast where a guy was talking about he was a SEAL or very high tier military, and he said they would train for 18 months for a 6 month
deployment
because it was that technical. Obviously, we can't do that with every single cop in every single city because that would be a lot of time, and I don't think we have that much time.
Or money.
So, I guess Lima, I don't know anything much about Lima. Do you feel like there's anything else you guys should be training in more so or not? Or
no.
You said you do continuous training.
We are. I'm fairly confident with our training.
That's good.
Training goes two different ways. Training with your department, mandated training through the state, but you also got to be, if you're going to be a cop, you're going to be good at it. You want to know what you're doing. You got to do stuff on your own.
Yep.
For instance, just something small, drawing your gun.
Yeah. That's something
Okay?
that's something they said to do in my CCW class.
Yeah.
They're like, just
Practice.
unload your gun, put everything away, and just draw it.
Yeah.
Have it under your shirt like you do, and then draw it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
stand in front of a mirror and watch yourself draw. Get used to it. It's all about repetition. Knowing where everything is on your belt. You know, I've got 2 extra magazines. I know where they're at. I know how they work. I know right where they are. It's like
you can throw them up.
I can just
in the
boom
air and then do it.
Yeah, pop it. I know where my handcuffs are. I know right where they're at. I know where my radio's at. You know, I know where my mace is. I know where everything is on my belt. I don't move it. You know, people laugh at me because I don't move it. Well, one's because my belt's too small. But all the rest is right where is my comfort zone where I know everything is.
Yeah.
Plus, if I start moving stuff around, I've got bad shoulders from the job. You know, I can't move my gun back any further. I have to have it a little bit further up in front because I've screwed my shoulder up twice. I've had surgery once on this one. It's screwed up again. I got to have surgery on this one because it's screwed up from work. And I know where everything is. It's within reach. It's what I can reach and not be in pain. You know, you don't want to be in pain. Reaching back for your gun, you know, and you're done.
So what you're basically saying is you got to want to do the job.
You got to want to do the job. And if you want to be good at it, you've got to go above and beyond what you're originally trained. Okay. Me being a little bit more, I've been in 3 different specialty teams. Okay. I've been on K9. I've been on SWAT twice, and was a field training officer. So I have to know more than what the other guys do, and obviously know more and what to train the young guys, rookies coming in. So the SWAT team was a lot of stuff that I did in the military. You know, pretty comparison. Different settings.
Yeah.
And then I also did, 4. I did undercover drug work for a while.
Okay.
I bought drugs myself. I controlled informants. I worked with other officers who had informants, and I ran the wire. I did prostitution details. I'm old though. Being 51, it's not an old guy's game.
I can imagine. No.
It's not. I mean, my wife will tell you, I give 150%. You know, my mind says I'm 16, but my body says I'm 80. You know, I played football when I was in high school. I love a good tackle. Guys run on me, oh, you're going down. You know, I used to be fast. I was one of the fastest on our department. Not so much anymore.
I hear being 51 or, you know, getting older. All these people keep telling me, James, stay young, and it's not working. I just keep getting older and older.
You get 40, your body starts going to hell.
See, the thing is,
I've got 9 years. Yes.
The thing I've tried telling people is like, because being 23, everybody's like, you shouldn't be feeling any pain at all. I'm like, you're right. I don't, but I still have pain that I didn't have when I was 16.
Yeah.
And then when I was 16, I didn't have it when I was 12.
Just wait till you hit 40.
That's what I hear. I hear it just gets better and better.
Well,
and you wake up and you sleep wrong and your neck goes, nope, that wasn't good. Stop doing that.
Older is wiser, okay? Older is wiser. So
work harder, not smarter.
Exactly. I've gotten smart now. I don't get out and chase the bad guys for a long time. I drive behind them till they get tired, and then I get out and tackle them. That's the fun part of it. Oh, wait a minute. I got this all wrong. Why am I running after them, getting tired, and I can't fight them? Well, you know, you drive behind them and let them get tired.
Oh, jeez.
Then you have that perfect linebacker tackle. Oh, you know.
All the guys at the station clapping on the back.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my!
I do love going on YouTube and watching good police tackles.
They're
fun.
There's some. I seen one. There was a guy, and I threw it out to all my other buddies. You know, friends who are cops and who aren't cops. There's this one where this kid was just getting all like this, and this cop comes. He was going after one cop, and another cop comes in out of nowhere, just levels him. Boom! I'm like, yes! I love it.
Oh.
And then, that's so you. That's so you. I've done it.
Just level.
I've done it.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Just level kids.
Yeah. I'll give you what happened one time. We were chasing a car. A car took off one of another officers, so we were in a car pursuit. The other guy is bad guy, first cruiser, me. So the guy gets out in the south end of Lima and ditches the car, ghost rides it. You guys know what ghost riding is? So he jumps out of the car. The car keeps going one way. The guys in front of me, it was one of the senior officers and a rookie. They stop their car, obviously put it in park and jump out and start running after the guy. I'm like, So I go around him and I get in front of him.
So it was like a cop movie where that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Continue. It's like a cop movie because where one cop stays in the car. It's like, what are you guys doing?
So I get in front of him, and lo and behold, this backyard of this guy's house went from solid to mud real fast. So I'm like 10 feet in front of the two, and I'm spinning to keep going. And this guy isn't too far in front of me, 20 feet in front of me. Well, I ended up getting stuck in the mud, but the two guys that were out on foot were covered in mud from my back tires. So I jump out, take off, and I tackle. He stops, and I just, boom, a good linebacker tackle.
Yeah.
And he gave up after I hit him because I took the wind out of him, and,
You sound like a dying whale. When
So they come walking up and they were mad. They were pissed. They come up behind me and then star pound all these words coming out of their mouths. I'm like, what? What happened to you guys? I had no idea that I coated them completely from head to toe in mud.
No idea.
I got your collar for you, though. You arrested. He's right there.
Oh, did you drop this?
Yeah, that was a joke for a while.
Oh, I bet. Oh, geez. That's hilarious. What was your... So, I keep going back because I'm really interested in the early days. Okay. So, you said 92.
92.
You said the first couple months were kind of whatever. First couple weeks were kind of whatever.
Yeah.
What was your first call, I guess?
My very first call after I come out of the academy. When we come back, we had another 2 weeks of in-house training. Okay. So my first call when I was with my training officer was a domestic violence. I remember to this day. We went in the house, don't remember shit. Nothing. I remember nothing of it. I remember the call. I remember the house. No idea what was said.
Interesting.
We walk out the door and he goes, do you know what this is as far as the crime? No. And he goes, okay, this is domestic, and this is how they break down the domestic, and it's depends upon, if they're married, they live together, they have children together, that stuff.
Yeah, lots
and he told me
if they share a dog.
Yeah. Well, and he broke it down, and that's how he told me how it was. That was the very first call. Anything after that for the first couple of weeks, it's a blur because you're expected to learn so much so fast. And you're just trying to get your head wrapped around everything. You're with our department, the first 18 weeks, you're with a training officer, 6 weeks on each shift, first, second, third shift.
Oh, gosh.
So you're
That's
rotating.
Be terrible for your body.
And then after that 6 weeks, you start over again, but they get with all the training officers from each shift that you were with and the supervisors, and they decide if you're ready to go out on your own. After that, they say, yes, you go out on your own. And then you're still rotating for the whole first year, every 6 weeks.
All right. So they get with the training officers, see which shift you'd be best on.
No, you get actually if you're able to go out on your own.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You're rotating for the whole first year, every 6 weeks. And then when it comes to the end of your first year out of the academy, your probation doesn't start till you're out of the academy. So once you're out of the academy, then at the end of your first year, then they decide which shift you're going to be on.
Oh, God.
And they call
You don't get to decide.
No, you don't.
They decide.
All depends on how many people you come in with.
Mm-hmm.
Like my group that I came in with, we had 6. So there are 2 for each shift.
Oh.
So they went to the highest 2 people, which was me and another guy, and said, which shift do you want? Well, there are some issues behind me. We won't go into that, but I got on day shift. So everybody got the shift that they wanted.
That's good.
So, but then
I
after
would assume
that,
most family men want a day shift.
most family men do, yes, but sometimes you get stuck. The new people more so today, when they come on, they get put on second shift. Second shift, I'm only speaking for our department. It's very young. I think the senior most guy there has 23 years, but then there's a big drop off below 10. So
Wow.
the majority of the young people that come out, that when they get put
What
out.
is second shift for you guys?
Second shift, well, day shift is 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. 3 to 11 is second shift, and 11 to 7 is third shift.
Yeah, 3 to 11's the worst because you're missing everything.
Yeah.
You're
Luckily
missing
enough,
all
I
the
haven't.
soccer games or all the baseball games.
Luckily enough, I haven't had. I was never put on second shift.
Ugh.
I started out. I was 12 years on day shift. Then I took a transfer. I needed a transfer. I needed to get away from day shift. I went to third shift, which is 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. for 15 years. And now, just about a year and 4 months, I've been back on day shift.
11 to 7.
So, yeah,
It's some people love third. Apparently, you liked third shift.
I did.
Some people really love third shift because you can do stuff.
Yeah.
At least that's the way they see it. Like Aaron, he loves his third shift. He's been working third shift for years. But no, that's
Mainly because the managers aren't there.
yeah.
The upper echelon. And it was, I mean, it's hell in your sleep, especially with being on third shift and being a police officer. You have court in the morning. So you try to ask the court to schedule you early, 8:30, 8, 9 o'clock. Sometimes they'll schedule that, but then they'll schedule 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh.
I got to the point where I was sleeping maybe 2 to 3 hours a day,
Oh,
and I'd had enough. I too old, too much, got to change again. So that's what happened. Get burned out,
Especially as a police officer, you want to get as much sleep as you can.
Yeah, but you don't, and you want to be there with your family.
Yeah.
I've missed how many things with my wife and kids.
2 Christmases at least.
More, well, a lot of Christmases, a lot of Thanksgivings, a lot of Easters. Our oldest was in traveling teams, football, basketball, and baseball. I missed a lot of those because I couldn't go with them. They went to Notre Dame couple times. A lot of times go over to Fort Wayne to Spee Center. I missed a lot of stuff. And then trying to schedule 2 different families functions, holidays around my schedule. I'm like, no, I'll schedule myself around you guys. You set them when you want. And then let me sleep a couple hours. My wife would let me sleep, and then I'd go, be with them.
You go hang out with the in-laws.
Yeah.
And then I'll go
Or
hang out with
there
my
have been times where I went over to their house, my wife's mom's house, and I slept there, ate and slept.
Yep.
Hey, Merry Christmas. So, but it's been hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
And if people think it's a job that
If
for
people think-
anybody or everybody, it's not.
If people think, I think there's a lot of people who do just go. A comedian brought this up, and I thought it was relatively funny. He said, "Some cops are it's a job,
Yeah.
and they just go to work, and then they go home and hang out."
We would call them rods,
Ooh,
retired on duty. I was never one of those. I still, for the most part, am not. But, I used to get on the older guys for being rods because they didn't want to do anything. Well, I'm the old guy now. I'm the most senior patrolman on our department. I'm number 6 in total seniority on our department
wow.
of, I think, 72. Been there, done that, seen it, had enough. I get it now why they were rods. But these young guys who come out who don't want to do anything, how the hell can you be a rod?
Yeah.
You're not even wet behind the ears. Get out there and do something. No matter what, get out there and do something. You want me to show you how? Ask me. I'll show you how.
A lot of people don't like asking. I don't know why
No.
that's a thing.
And I still like to be involved with stuff. I don't initiate it pretty much anymore. Because it's old. You know what I mean?
What is the turnover rate for cops? Or at least where you're at?
Our department's not bad.
Okay.
It's actually really not bad. Our guys stay a lot longer, a lot more retiring from our department.
Would you know the average of
No.
guys who, okay, I didn't know.
No.
Because that seems. A lot of people do they'll get one job and they really like it, and so they'll stay there till they retire. I'm of a weird mindset, which Caleb is okay with, I guess. I don't know. I want to work a job just 5 to 10 years and then change careers.
Well,
some people.
God forbid somebody gets shot. It's been a long time.
Wasn't thinking about that. Good Lord, way to bring it down.
But it's just the reality check.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's
you
the
look
thing.
at our department as opposed to Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, Toledo. Okay, being in Lima, being a smaller city, a lot of people know a lot of people who know us. And you're not going to run into somebody that doesn't know at least one cop or knows one or two bad people or might know what happened. Okay. So unlike you go to a friend of mine works in Columbus. When he started, he was put in the ghetto. Drug, everything, murders, everything. He loved it. He'd park his car 5 blocks away and walk in. But he was physically fit. I mean, he used to be a wrestler, very physically fit, very smart, very intelligent. And he loved it. He loved the thrill of all of that. Now he's one of their gang detectives, which goes hand in hand with the drug unit. So he gets to do that, make his own, he goes in his own hours. He has certain hours he's set, but, for the most part, he can work whenever, however long he wants. I've been there, done that. He's still not burned out.
Wow.
But he's moved into a different faction other than just straight drug work. He's working, with gang-related activity. You've got a wide variety of crimes that come into gang activity.
Oh, yeah.
You got drugs, prostitution, card theft rings, burglaries, robberies. The whole gamut goes in is surrounded by your drug organizations or your gang organizations. So, he's wound up in that. So he's not just working one area.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
But I show them, I train kids. I've up until the last year, I've trained a lot of the kids underneath me. And I've had fun doing it. But I tell them also, you don't have to be an ass to be a cop. You don't have to be a jerk to everybody. You don't have to issue tickets all the time. I've had several instances where I had to stop people because they start getting stupid with me. Whoa, wait a minute. Let's start over again because this is going to an area where neither one of us want. Okay? I don't know you. I don't know if you know me, but let's start this over again and everything will be fine. And
people want to talk back. And I guess I've been pulled over a small amount of times. And it was normally 2:00 in the morning, leaving my girlfriend, now wife at the time.
Because they're looking for an OVI.
That's what it is. And I probably was swerving all over the road because it was 2 a.m. and I got off. And but normally I'm just 2 hands on the wheel, wait for them to do the window, ask for my stuff, and then get it to them. And then not talk back, not do anything. But then you see videos online of people talking back. It's like, why? I don't feel like there's anything to gain unless you do have something bad in your car.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a factor I didn't think about, but.
Well, and a lot of that draws more attention. In my mindset, if I go up and approach somebody, if you want to say, what'd you pull me over for? Okay. Well, first of all, I need your license. And then I'll tell you what I pulled you over for because I want to know who I'm talking to. So I stop them right there. I'll let you know as soon as I have your driver's license. Let me have your driver's license. Okay. I'm straightforward. My wife gets on me about it because I'm too straightforward. I don't sugarcoat it.
Too blunt.
I am.
We know a guy who's too blunt.
I'm straightforward. I don't sugarcoat it because what does that do? It only makes it worse. Mm-hmm. And I don't lie. I tell them, okay, this is what's going to happen. You're getting a ticket you might not get a ticket. I repeat their name on, from what our driver's license is your current address. This is what I pulled you over for. Pulled you over for running that stoplight back there. If your license is valid, you don't have any warrants, I'm going to give you a warning, you're going to go on your way. If your license isn't valid, then we're going to have to deal with it from there. Okay? They already know if their license isn't valid. I'm sure you guys know if your license is valid or not.
Normally, yeah.
I'm sure you guys know if you don't have a warrant or do have a warrant.
Normally.
Okay? But if you didn't show up for court or didn't pay a fine and there's a warrant, you're going to know something. They already know it. So they've already got the jump on me for not knowing what they know. Within the first few seconds, they already know what they're going to do when I pull somebody over. If they're a law-abiding citizen, valid license, no warrants, I'm not even going to the church-going part because that has nothing to play into it. If their license is valid, they don't have any warrants, they have nothing to worry about. Okay? Then you put in a couple other aspects. Well, they might have a knife in there. They might have drugs in there. They might have a gun in there. They might have a warrant. They might have a dead body in the trunk. You never know what you're going to have. That's why traffic stops are the number 2 killer of police worldwide. Number 1 is domestic disputes. So all the situations we go into, we don't know what we're going into. That's why we're always on guard.
That's why you kind of come off as an ass sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you're just trying
Well,
to...
and I try not to.
Yeah.
Okay? I try not to.
You try to come off more authoritative rather than as a jerk. But some people can't tell the difference. I think some people are so jaded that they see authority or sternness as being a jerk.
Yes.
And I don't think that's... I think you guys are just trying to come in, especially with a domestic or anything like that. You're just trying to come in, calm down. What's going on?
Yeah.
And people don't like that for some reason.
Well, because
Some people just don't like being told what to do.
their freedom is in jeopardy.
Yep.
Is the whole thing. Freedom is in jeopardy.
And the second you just start screaming
like-
and beating your girlfriend,
going
I
into
don't
a-
feel like you have freedom.
It's like going into a blind date, but you don't know if they're carrying a weapon or not.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And I for years I didn't carry mine off duty. Then I did for a while. And then I'm kind of back and forth now. Sometimes I
So
do,
now you have
sometimes
6
I don't.
guns on you now?
Well, I was attacked by pit bulls almost 5 years ago. 2 of them right outside my house. They tore 2/3 of my ear off. I had 5 surgeries. So I at least have a knife on me at all times. Sometimes I have my gun, sometimes I don't.
They were just loose dogs?
My neighbors, 2 doors down.
Huh.
They're
2
the
pit bulls.
sweetest animals. They've never bit anybody before.
They haven't bit anybody in a long time.
Yeah.
Caleb had that the other
I've
day.
had that experience.
We could go into a whole thing about dogs, but I'm not going to go there. It was wrong, okay? Sometimes I carry off duty, sometimes I don't. I've been involved in stuff right in the middle of stuff off duty. Not have my gun. Armed robbery at my best friend's convenience store, which is 2 blocks from my house. On a Sunday, when I'm taking my kids to school,
Broad daylight.
broad daylight, taking my kids to school to see basketball game. Pull in there, my friend comes out, we were just robbed. Okay, let me drop my kids off, I'll be right back. Give me a description so when I'm taking them 2 blocks to school, I can keep a lookout there. Ended up finding them. They ditched the gun, they ditched their mask, they still had the money on them. Shame on them. Followed the exact path. I found them 2 blocks away. You never know. I've been involved.
Why would you? I guess, never mind. Sorry.
We were involved with a lady out at Walmart one night. We walked in.
She knows apparently what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Well, she got in the middle of it, too, because she had enough.
I've heard them. I've seen videos.
We were
Total Karen.
Oh, my Lord. We were 5 rows away from the front entrance, and this lady was just going off, cussing, F-bomb everywhere. And I'm like, okay, I had enough. I turned on my cop mode, and I walked away from her. And she followed me over there. And I didn't have to have as much restraint as what the 2 the loss prevention officers did. They were like, just waiting for our guys to get there. I'm like, okay, I'm already here. They knew me. They're like, thank God. I started going off on her. Initially I was trying to get her calmed down.
I'm off duty. I don't care.
Yeah. I didn't have my body camera on. I don't care. I tried to get her to calm down. She was just, everything was wrong. She was in the store for 3 hours. And she kept on making trips out and back and in and out on one of the little motorized carts. Well, here, she was buying stuff, but she was putting the stolen stuff underneath that in the bottom of the cart where they couldn't see it.
Yeah. Yep,
But we were racist. She was a white woman. She had a mixed child. But and the loss prevention officers, one was a white woman and the other one was a black man. And we ended up finding out that they wanted her receipts, so she gave them the receipts. And then she's calling them racist. And again, you had a black man loss prevention and a white woman loss prevention. And she's white and her son is mixed. Well, they ended up finding stolen stuff underneath her bags, which she hidden. And I told her she needed to stop several times. And then I started getting mad because she wouldn't. She kept on yelling, screaming, and cussing. F-bombs all over the place. And I told her, I said, listen. Then I turned on the F-bomb. And then I got pretty hatey with her. And then it got so bad that it pissed my wife off. And she stepped in. She goes, oh, you must be the cop's wife. She goes, yeah, you better be more afraid of me. My wife said that, and I didn't really realize it until later, until she told me. But it was, and the two loss prevention officers gave her a high five, and I like you.
The wives of cops are insane people. To want to stay with a cop, you're nuts. So bravo to you. And bravo to you guys.
Yeah. Well, Pause for station identification.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of things in my 28 years and 4 months that people shouldn't have to see.
Oh, I can't imagine.
I've been in situations where people shouldn't have to be in. But you know what? I try to go back to what my parents raised me and taught me to do. Do the Christian thing. Okay? We won't go into religion. I don't need to do that.
Yep.
But treat people as you want to be treated. And I try to 90% of the time. There's always that 10% that go above and beyond and push your buttons and won't stop. And that's where you see a lot of the nonsense.
Yeah.
And I try to remind myself that day in and day out. I try not to bring anything home.
That is one thing a lot of guys in all trades or businesses and careers need to really learn is don't bring it home.
Well, it's harder than you think, especially in police work.
I cannot imagine.
She's brought things to light. What do you call it? Slap you in the face with it. And I don't know that I'm doing it. Even driving, I got the cop mentality. I don't drive. I try not to speed too, I try to be more conscious of speed. I'm talking about rolling stops. I'm talking about taking in everything around me because you got to have your head on a swivel to be a cop. You never know who's out there. It's sad that you got to be paranoid. I don't think I'm paranoid, but I'm aware. I'm aware of my surroundings. And when I get home, I don't want to have to do that. If you don't go home tired, you didn't do your job. Because you have to be aware of your surroundings. You don't know who's hiding behind a tree. You don't know who's hiding behind a house, in between houses. You don't know what they're doing. Are you suspicious of everybody? Yes, but are you? No. One thing that I have that I call my God-given talent is I can read people.
Yep.
Okay.
Some people can't. I find it really interesting.
There's things that I could tell you about people that you probably would have no. There's probably things I could tell you about you guys yourself that you wouldn't even know. But I got this before I was a cop. I knew it in high school. There's several things that I go back on, but not necessary. But I pointed out. There was a thing with my wife that I pointed out.
They love it when you do that.
Before we even dated.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's always fascinating when someone tells you something about you that you didn't even know or that nobody else knew and you kept it a secret. That's funny.
And it's I'll give you military. When I was over in Germany, we were assigned to patrol the different bases, American bases. So we went to this one base that had the only bar, and it was a rough bar.
Mm-hmm. It's Germany. Everything's rough.
I had
Their language is
but it
rough.
was only American. It's American based with American bar, but it was a rough bar.
It's in Germany, so
Yeah. But anyhow, we were sitting there, and I had a woman officer, another woman military police officer with me, and she goes, "Well, let's just go. There's nothing going on here." I'm like, "No, we're not leaving." I said, "There's going to be a fight." She goes, "What are you talking about?" "Those two groups right there, they're going to fight. We're not leaving." Well, no sooner did I say that, they gave us a call to go check out a car at one of our McDonald's a couple miles away. We hadn't even left. We weren't even around the corner. They called us to go back there because the two groups started fighting. He goes, "How'd you do that?" I said, "I don't know. I could just read their body language." A lot of stuff. One year, I had the most recovered stolen vehicles with arrests on the Lima Police Department. I had 13 recovered stolen vehicles with 11 arrests.
Wow.
In 1 year. And
that's pretty neat.
It's because of instinct. They say you got to have that sixth sense as a cop. Well, I had a little bit more than that. My God-given talent led me to that. And, it was...
So, why would... I'm not trying to...
You're not going to offend me?
No, not that. I'm trying to figure out my words here. So why did that help you with finding the cars and such? Because you were able to figure out where they were?
I listened to my sixth sense. For instance, one was behind Lima Senior High School in the parking lot. At the end of the day, it was a burglary. Some people broke into a house. It was an older woman's house who wasn't there. Broke into her house, stole a bunch of stuff, stole her car. So I'm driving down a little alley. It's called Town Alley. It ran right beside the old Lima Senior. Something told me to turn and go down that alley. I look over to my right in the back parking lot of the school, and there's a car with a bunch of people around it. 4 people inside of it. Something told me to go over to that car. So I went around. They didn't see me coming, pulled right up in front of them. Look at the license plate, and it's a stolen car. 2 males in the front, 2 females in the back. It was a sixth sense. Something, instincts. You go on your instincts tells you, it told me to go there. Told me to turn down the alley, first of all. Second, told me to go over to that car.
Okay. So we were on the reading people.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize that's just a part of it.
The part of the reading and the sense, the sixth sense. And, people, when I was still on rotation, as a rookie within the first year, we were going by one of the known drug areas in Lima. It used to be called the Snake Pit. It's anonymous, low-income housing, mixed. It wasn't just all blacks. It wasn't just all white. It was a whole mix. And, all different nationalities in there. It was a pit. And it was called the Snake Pit for a reason. A lot of drugs, a lot of shootings, a lot of car thefts, a lot of violent crime in that area. We driving by. Early in the morning, I look over and see this guy standing there. So, about noon, we come back around. And I told my training officer, I said, "Hey, that guy's been hanging out there all day." We went by him. He goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, we went by him this morning. He was hanging out, leaning against the same post. He's still at the same post." He says, "Okay, well, let's go check and see what he's doing." So we roll up. We no sooner roll up, he gets out and takes off. So we end up with a foot pursuit. Me, being a rookie, okay, I got to lock the car, roll up the windows. We're not leaving the car cruiser here right in this bad area. And he yells back at me, "Stay there, stay with the car." Well, there was actually 2 of them. One, the guy he just did a deal with, that the training officer saw the hand-to-hand right as we're coming around. So he went after the guy who was dealing. And I was like, and he's calling out the foot pursuit. As soon as I get the car locked up, I take off the other guy. Well, luckily enough, there was other officers that were close. They ended up getting the other guy and him. But the guy ditched his drugs in a store that he ran into, hidden behind some chips. We ended up getting it later on. So it's just the instinct of...
That guy looks suspicious.
what's the issue here? Why, and sometimes it's for naught. You know what I mean?
It's a little bit of not OCD, maybe a little bit of OCD. Everything's right with the world except for this right here.
Right. Yes.
Something's not quite right with that.
Yes. Why would you be standing in the
Amidst
same place
this chaos,
all day?
that specifically
is a wrong. Yeah. Why was that guy standing there all day? It's enough to raise your suspicion. And a lot of police work is suspicion. I only have to have what they call mere suspicion to stop somebody. Okay? Believed to be that they are doing something wrong, violating a crime. If not, you move on.
I'm sorry for
Yes.
interrupting your day.
Have a nice day. People
Here's a
tell me,
lollipop.
yeah, you can get them next time. You'll get them next time. I've done that. I've got them the next time. They might not have been doing something stupid right then and there or something illegal. The next time they were. And it's just getting to know your area, know your people, knowing what's going on. I've developed a lot of people who tell me a lot of things all the time. When I was on third shift, we had a young sergeant, brand new, not even a sergeant a year. He was a sergeant of my platoon that I'm in, called me in and says, well, your numbers are down. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, your numbers are down. You're not at the shift average of what traffic stops and tickets and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. You want me to play numbers game? He said, I'll play your numbers game. You want me to have numbers? I'll have numbers. I don't play that game. But let's look at this. No, I only have 4 or 5 traffic tickets in a month. The average is 25. But how many major crimes have I solved by getting information from the people in the area that I work from? And how many of these other guys who have 25, 30, 40, 50 tickets in 1 month, how many major crimes are they solving? How much stolen property are they getting? What do you got to say about that, Sergeant? Shut up and get out of here. Because he knew that I was right. A ticket is not everything to me.
Because it's just money for the department.
Yeah, well, not even for the department.
It's just
it
money.
goes into the general fund of the city that goes to every single department within the city. But it's not the fact that I don't like to write tickets. I'll write a ticket every day, all day, whatever. It's not my thing.
You don't get pleasure from giving tickets.
If somebody's
being stupid, if they're going 100 miles an hour through town.
Yeah. Or not even that. I mean, if they made a mistake, how many times have you daydreamed when you were driving and you were 15, 20 miles over the speed limit? Or you were in a tired stupor at 2:00 in the morning and you're doing 20 miles going over the speed limit going home and you just don't even know how you got home.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to everybody.
The best one I did was I was in my work truck and down the road here, the stop signs were so far off the road, they weren't in your immediate sight, and I just drove right through it.
How many times have you been through that intersection?
A lot.
Yeah.
I always stop.
Yeah.
But then it just one, and then there's a lady on the sidewalk who went. I was like,
"You're right."
That's what I did. I was like, "What? Oh, yeah, whatever."
And I tell the rookies that I said, "You don't have to give a ticket every time you stop somebody. You don't have to. Maybe within their first year they do because they want to see that they can do the job, do the numbers, do the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine and dandy. But after that, you don't have to. I give more verbal warnings and written warnings than I do tickets. Because why? First of all, you're already infringing on stopping somebody, even though they violated the law. Okay, but you're going to take money out of their pocket. If they're headed to work, you're going to make them late, maybe lose their job. Or if they're on their way home, they might have had a long day. You never know.
My first time I ever got pulled over was because I picked my nose. I swerved over the white line. It was another midnight call, but I was leaving my girlfriend's house and I was really getting in there and swerved over the white line.
2 knuckle deep.
And he followed me for a little bit and then he flicked his lights on. He said, "You know why I pulled you over?" I was like, because I was checking my speed. I was like, I had just turned on this road and I had turned off, so I didn't get that fast. So I was like, I don't know why he pulled me over. He's like, You swerved over that white line. I went, oh, I was picking my nose. He just chuckled and said, I don't think he knew what to do.
Well, we were out to eat. It was after I was already off duty. And, sometimes you got to go to the restroom. It hits you right then and there. Yep. Well, it didn't hit me until we were about halfway home.
Cool.
And it hit hard. So I was speeding. I was pulled over by a trooper. Or he comes walking up.
I just had this conversation with somebody. Continue.
So he walks up and he looks in. Link, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, I've got to go number 2. Different expletive.
Yeah.
Really bad, and I can't hold it. He goes, you owe me a Dr. Pepper. I said, that's a deal. Get out of here. So I went home.
We were just talking about that. I forget why, but we were like, what if you get pulled over and you're like about to poop your pants? Like, would you just poop your pants while talking to the cop?
I was there. I was almost there.
Because I was with a buddy. He was like, I don't even care if I get pulled over. He's like, I have to go so bad. He's like, they can follow me into the Walmart while I run to the bathroom. He's like, I don't care. We were on the highway. We were on our way back from Nashville. And it hit him just like that on the way back, and he just was speeding and going. I will never forget it. When he got off the highway, the light was green, and he said, "There is a God." So that answers my question, but not quite, because I don't know. Can you use that?
Yeah, well, it's all about you can. They can still give you a ticket, but I owed him a Dr. Pepper, which I paid up. So.
I think I don't know what I would do if I really had to go. I'd be like, "Can you follow me home? I have to crap."
You can ask them that. Yes.
Give me my ticket when I get home.
Can you follow me to this gas station so I can take a crap?
I pulled my cousin over for speeding. He was running lights. Well, he pulled into St. Rita's lot. His daughter was sick and throwing up.
That's different.
Not that it was my cousin. Not that I couldn't have gave him a ticket. You gotta have a heart.
At that point, you're kind of being a jerk.
Yeah,
you're not understanding a situation.
Yeah. The heart. You gotta have common sense, and nowhere does it say that you have to write a ticket every time. Some departments might make it mandatory. You pull them over, you're gonna write them a ticket. No, I mean it's officer's discretion. Okay.
It depends.
Yeah, reliable. If he wanted me to prove it, drop trowel and let him know. Hey,
exactly.
There it is, buddy. But I've let people go. We had a friend who's works in the barber shop that I go to. I saw her one day just going off on a cop. Just so I found out later on that she had to pee really bad, and he was not going to let her go home. She only lived a couple blocks where he pulled her over from. He was not going to let her. It was a young guy. So, he was not going to let her go. Well, he finally let her go. Well, we played on that, man. I went in with caution police line tape, wrapped up her barber chair, put a warning tag on it. And I ragged on her for a couple of months.
Well, you have to.
Yeah. And then everybody I went in one night after they closed. The owner was only there. He let me in. He knew what I was going to do. He had a ball with it too. He thought I should have did more, but I did plenty enough. I mean, she had a hell of a time unwrapping her barber's chair the next morning, but she ticked her off at first, and then she started laughing. What would you have done if you would have stopped me and I told you I had to pee? I'm like, oh my God, why are you giving it to me? You already gave it to him.
She's still angry.
She's still angry, yeah.
I still would be.
So, but I mean, he didn't give her a ticket.
I kind of, as bad as it sounds, I want to know nitty gritty. Like, what's the worst scene you've walked in, or that you can or want to tell us about?
She's so weird.
I want to know, like, the word, like, you busted on a scene, or you came in and you're like, what's going on?
Okay, I've been involved with a lot of shootings, as far as other people being shot, me responding to it. I've been involved in homicide. Probably the worst one that I had ever. Oh shit! Factor. Was a house on Wayne. 3 cars, 3 of us cruisers pulled up all the same time. The call was, and it's going to sound stupid, we knew this was a possible drug house. there was moaning coming from inside the house. Wow. You're thinking that there's some love making going on. Okay. But something clicked on all three of us. We all three pulled up at the same time in front of this house. We all three got out. We all three opened up our trunks exactly the same time, pulled out our gloves, which we don't normally do. We open up the door. Nobody's answering. We hear something inside, but we can't really tell what it is. We kick the door in. As soon as you kick the door in, there's a blood trail.
Not a good sign.
Right from the front door. Goes around. Looks like it goes into a kitchen, but there's also, it's a little hallway going into a kitchen. We found out later there's a stairwell going down there too. But there's blood everywhere in this room. On the walls, on the couch, on the love seat, in a chair. There's some splatters, a few splatters up on the ceiling. We're like, what the hell? So we're following, all three of us are following this blood trail. We get to this hallway. It's a small hallway, maybe 4 feet long by about 3 feet wide. I'm in the middle. I hear something in the basement, but we're going to clear the kitchen first. We look in the kitchen. There's blood all over in the kitchen. I said, there's something downstairs. We got to go down there. So we open up the door, the basement door. We hear, yell down, police, police, come out with your hands up, police. We hear nothing but that groaning. We go down to the bottom of the steps, and it's pretty much a death rattle, is what we call it. Gurgling. You'll know what I mean if you ever hear it, okay? The guy's eyes are glazed over. He's not really moving. He's still a little breathing. Technically, he was dead. It was just his body was in shock and reaction. He'd been beat to a pulp and got the ambulance there. They said he was clinically dead, brain dead, but his body was still moving. That was probably the most gruesome scene that I've had, the thing that jumps out the most. I mean, I've seen some gory scenes. I've been to houses where people hung themselves, shot themselves in the head, blood splatter, matter, fecal, everything. That the one is the most stands out.
That's the one that stands out the most.
Yeah.
See, I have a weird sick fascination with crime scenes and different things. I follow a crime scene cleanup crew because that's something I never thought about. There needs to be companies to come and clean up fecal matter, vomit. Like something that I learned by following their page was someone, I think, threw up all over a bathroom in a movie theater. And according to them, they said, by law, as an employee of that company, you don't have to clean that up. That is technically biohazard, and you don't have to clean that up. So you can call a biohazard cleanup crew, and they'll come and clean it up. But they also deal with bodies that have been laying in a room for months, and they show all the process of how they do it. They pull the carpet, pull the floor, sometimes redo the joists, and then redo the whole floor. And so that's, some people are more interested, some people aren't interested really at all. Caleb, you're not super, I don't know.
I'm interested in different features than you are. You're interested in like the cleanup and how that's done. I'm more interested in like the method behind what you're looking for, what you're seeing when you're out on patrol. I'm more interested in what your mindset is rather than necessarily the scene, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because I've always found I love watching shows where, like we're watching Psych again. I enjoy watching that because I like to see how his brain works and how he notices things inside the room. And the way you're talking, your brain kind of works the same way, where you notice things that are out of the ordinary out of the same way. And that's what I think is very interesting, how you can work on that and build that up. And sometimes it's just natural instinct. So for me, that's what I find really fascinating about police work in that.
Sometimes it's a natural instinct. Sometimes it's a learned, trained ability.
And combination of both.
Repetition. Yeah, repetition of seeing things, knowing your area, knowing what's in place, what's out of place, what belongs, what doesn't belong, who belongs there, who doesn't. And then taking all those factors in, plus other people talking to you and saying, hey, there's something ain't right about this. I noticed this is out of place, and it's a lot of those factors. And like, that's what I said earlier. When you go home, if you're not tired, it's not a physical tired, it's a mental tired, because you're always looking around. You're always looking between, underneath, around, above, you're looking at everything. How people are acting in a car beside you. White knuckle, I can tell. How many times have I told my wife driving down the road, they ain't got a license, because you can just tell the demeanor of the person, how they're driving. So, you're sitting in a car, you drive by a car and people slide down, or they look away and don't, or cover their face. I mean, come on.
How much more obvious can you be?
Yeah, I mean, they say, well, how did you know that? On my instincts, on my training.
Did you see that guy cringe?
Yeah, and I've gotten that from attorneys sitting on stands. I don't go to trial a lot. Because one, I don't, garbage in, garbage out. You've heard that term before. I don't take garbage into the court. If it's something that I'm not strong with, I'm not going to take it in. I'll call the prosecutor, see what they think. They'll tell me. I'm honest about it. I don't lie on the stand. My reputation is everything to me. I don't lie on the stand. And most of the regular attorneys that I deal with in courts know that. If Mark got you, you're got. Okay? I talked about the black, not everything's black and white. It's not. There's a gray area. I don't play in the gray area. I don't stay in the gray area. I like the black and white, but there's times in police work there, you're going to have to deal with the gray area. That in between, it's right there on that borderline. You're going to cross, it's just like crossing over, crossing back. It happens. You make the best of it, but you live on your training, you lived on your experience, and I've got a lot of experience in 28 years and 4 months. And that's what I rely on. And I've put myself into it, that I have done a lot of things. I've done the drug work, I've done the canine, I've done the SWAT, I've done the FTO, you know what I mean? I've got a lot of experience, and I rely heavily on that experience. And the attorneys, prosecutor, and defense know that. Very few times have I gone to trial. Had a trial of a DUI one year on St. Patrick's Day.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, the guy had been arrested before that.
Okay.
Just happened to go to trial on that specific day.
Oh,
Okay. It was during the week. So they're picking the jury. Go in, we have the trial. Found out later on that evening. I stayed as long as I could. I was dead tired. I had enough. It was like 6:00 in the evening. I was ready to go to bed. So been up all night from work. Had to work that night. So I went to bed. I got a call. I had got a call from the prosecutor, said we had lost the trial. I'm like, okay, why? Why did we lose the trial? He said, well, the jury figured he was drunk, but not that drunk.
I don't think that works.
I'm like, okay.
When you're driving.
Out of the 6 jurors that we had, 4 of them had OVIs. 2 of them were professors from one of the colleges close to Lima. They couldn't convince the other 4 that, come on, really? They saw it. Well, the jury forewoman had, when they receded back into the jury room, she had come out and said they wanted to know what they wanted for supper. She goes, can we have pizza and beer, seeing as how you're keeping us from St. Patrick's Day events? The prosecutor said, I knew I lost it then.
Yep.
So you win some, you lose some, This guy knew my family. I didn't know him from Adam. But It didn't matter. You know what I mean? I was just trying to do my job. I thought he was drunk enough. I arrested him. If I don't think that I have enough on a person, I ain't going to do that. I'll throw him in my car, take him home. I can get in trouble for that. I can throw him in the drunk tank. Let him sober up 4 to 6 hours and send him home. It all depends on a lot of things, what's going on, how busy are you guys, how long you're going to be tied up. You're going to tie other officers up, Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. But then again, I don't want to arrest people, but at times you have to.
Yeah.
I'm not a saint. Okay. I've done stupid stuff,
Oh yeah.
you know, speeding, you know.
What? The cops don't stick to the laws perfectly?
A lot of cops don't.
What? You
But-
mean I've 100% witnessed a cop flicking on his lights to go through red light and then turning him back off?
There's a reason for that, though.
Ooh, what's the reason?
It's
for
not a donut run either.
that? Oh. The Tim Hortons was pretty close.
Sometimes you're not cleared for code, but sometimes you have to get there. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, what?
A code run is lights and sirens.
Yep.
Sometimes the call doesn't warrant you to go lights and siren, which is a
Okay,
code
yeah,
run,
yeah,
but it warrants you to get there faster than normal.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Have I done it? Yes. Have I blown lights? Yes. Have I sped? Yes. But
So sometimes there is a
it
reason
has
for it.
there
Okay.
is a reason for it. Yes.
Okay, well that makes me feel better now.
Yes. We had one of my friends at work. We were going somewhere last night, and we were right down at the end of our street, and he turned on his lights to get around because there's traffic in front of him. He pulled up right beside us. I said, "You all good?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm good." Accident? He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay," because we seen people standing out there. Here he was pulling into an accident, but there's a lot of traffic at that intersection. So he had to get through to get to the accident. You know, people always say, a lot of times they'll say, "Oh no," people who call in third person, not involved in the incident, will say sometimes that there's no injury.
Yeah.
We don't know that till we get there on
Mhm.
an
No.
accident.
And
Majority of the time,
yeah.
there's going to be some type of minor injury, because what happens in a crash? You got two heavy ass vehicles hitting each other at a certain amount of speed, whether you're stopped or and one's moving or both moving, something's going to hurt.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. Whether you be twerked the wrong way, that click off,
Yeah, no worry
Yeah,
about it.
we're just gonna keep rolling.
twerk the wrong way, it's not going to be a natural motion.
No.
So you're
Your
going to be
body's-
injured, and you're not going to know right then and there because you have the adrenaline rush. It might not be till later on, 5, 10 minutes, hour, 2 hours, a day. So you're, oh man, my neck really hurts.
Mm.
You know, whiplash, or your back hurts, or your shoulder hurts from twerking it, or you know, you get the road rash from your seatbelt across your chest.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts.
And so, and then the cop needs to be there and
Yes.
and document it,
Yeah.
so it's on the record, and so it's not just completely out of
Right.
out of nowhere.
So you never know what you got till you get there, you know? So, and then you get another cop on the radio who's been sent to a call, one person call,
Yep.
and they don't know what they got till they get there. You know, they might say it might be a vandalism. Somebody's car window shot out or broke out, whatever. Okay. They get there. The person's not there when they call in. The officer shows up, and then the person's there. Now you need to have at least 2 cops there. Because if you only have one, they're going to take advantage of the situation or take advantage of the
Yep.
officer.
Mm.
I need another unit here. And it all comes down to listening to the voice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If they're like, "Yeah, can you send me another unit?" That's pretty nonchalant, isn't it? Whereas, I need another unit now. You know, the
Huh.
oh shit factor kicks in, and
Yeah.
that's what they call it, the oh shit factor.
That's
you could tell
I think there's no shit factor to almost every job.
exactly right,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's what you listen for.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell when an officer's in their car or out of their car. They're talking on their in-car radio or on their portable radio.
Yep.
If they're hyped up or not. You know, you know,
It
you
depends
guys
on
are
how
looking.
fast you need to go.
Exactly right. And sometimes the situation warrants busting that light. But you bust that light, you get in a wreck, you're at fault.
There was a picture. I'm sure you've probably seen it. 2 cop cars that hit each other at a red light, and it said, "Well, nobody's at fault here." One cop car T-bone the other one. I don't know. That's just
But you want to hear something funny though?
What's that?
Most people, and I'm not trying to target, but a lot of older people do not hear siren.
Mm.
They hear a horn. I could have my siren and lights on in the middle of the night, dark 30, where you can't see anything. You know, everybody else can see me coming for 20 miles away. But this person can't. So you blow the horn and they're like, what? It's happened. It happens. I can understand during the daytime. You can't see the overhead lights. Yeah, because of the sun. But that's
hilarious.
it is what it is. You blow the horn and everybody hears the horn. Everybody knows what the horn sounds like.
My.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There's one thing I want to say, that don't judge every officer because of somebody else's action.
Yep.
That's going around a lot. I've had more people come up to me and thank me in the last 6 months than I ever have. I've had people buy me lunch. People bought us lunch recently last week. $10 lunch. We split a lunch. It wasn't no big deal, but say thank you. I don't want anything. I don't want people to do that. I feel embarrassed by it. I don't like it. I tell them, no, please, no, and they insist, and they throw the money in the cashier's face, and but I don't like doing that. I don't.
Well, as civilians, we do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nobody wants to do that. We want to. He wants to see his kids when he goes home. He wants to go to whatever. I don't know. They're not in any sports yet.
No, not yet.
But
I don't want to be out. Like when I'm out on a call and I'm out at 6:00 at night, and I'm like, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
I don't want to be out here anymore. And you guys are going. That's your job, is to be out there. I mean, it's huge.
I don't want to do paperwork.
Nobody wants to do paperwork.
Sometimes I have to make an arrest. What does that mean? I got to do damn paperwork. I don't want to do paperwork. That's probably why I don't write a lot of tickets, because I don't want to do the paperwork.
Guys in the back, you see what you're making me do?
Oh my goodness.
You're going to get everything.
We're going to throw the whole book at you. What?
Did you just spit on the sidewalk? You need to take it for that too.
I was jaywalking. Mark, I think we're gonna wrap it up. It's pretty late. You gotta get up early. I gotta get up early. He's gotta get up early. She's probably gotta get up early. It was a pleasure having you.
Yes, thank you for coming
Thanks
out.
so
We had
much
a great
for coming.
time.
You already offered to maybe do a second one, so
Yeah.
we'll schedule that out sometime.
Yep.
This was phenomenal. We've covered your backstory, so now
It's story time.
on part 2 is just gonna be story after story, and so
Shit, I got to pull some reports then.
if you can. If you want to bring show and tell of, I don't know, something,
I can try. It's kind of
Yeah, then we can talk about like your canine time and like
We
what
can
you got
talk-
from that, what dogs you used and stuff like that. Definitely into, the FBI, or not the FBI, but
SWAT.
the SWAT side of it. And then definitely into the what?
Nothing.
The
you
what?
guys have to remind
You're
me
not
of
on
this,
camera.
That's fine. I am right there.
because my
I am right
memory's
there.
not that long, so you're gonna have to remind me of show and tell. Because,
Oh yeah, that's.
I mean, I can bring
notice.
some things.
Notice I texted you today and said,
Right.
"Hey, we still good?"
Yeah, I can't bring any like bombs and shit, but I can maybe bring some other things I
Damn
can
it.
show
We
you.
wanted to see some
I wanna
C4.
wear-
Dang it.
Yeah.
So thanks so much, Mark, for joining us.
Yep.
Do you have any shout outs? You have the next 5 seconds to shout something
To
out.
my wife Susan and my kids, I love you all.
There we go.
Well, there you go. So thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to see what's going on and to see when Mark's coming back. If you can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean.
You're talking entirely too fast.
I know.
Can people-
And subscribe to us on YouTube, please.
Yeah, I do talk incredibly fast.
He
This
does.
is the part I've said over.
This is a disclaimer.
This is the
Yeah.
list,
Okay, I got you.
the really long list, which
Okay.
I've said over almost 60 times
Oh, probably more than that.
minimum.
Anyways,
Yeah. So if we don't have a green screen currently, we normally have a green screen. So if you have any green screen background suggestions, let us know.
Oh, we could do a camera. Like I could bring pictures and talk about.
No, that'd be terrible. But so thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful morning, noon, or night.
see ya.
Amen.